Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining our live session right now. Before we begin, can we just take just a couple seconds and recite Surah Fatiha, and then we can start. We can begin. Okay, hope you guys are ready. Just to let you guys know, I'm super nervous. I know I do my shows, I do my videos. You can edit and can't do any of that here. So you're gonna have with me. This is the first time that we're doing a YouTube live. So I hope everything goes well. I hope you guys enjoy this show and then come back next week for another recipe. So today we are I'm planned to do 3 things. I know that on the schedule we've said 2 things, but I'm thinking that these recipes should go pretty fast. So if we have time, we'll do the 3rd one because I use that a lot. And if we don't have time, then that's fine. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to get our curry starter kit ready. While that is cooking on the stove, what I am going to do is then prepare the coconut bites. So here I have about 9 roma tomatoes here. And I also 2 very large onions. The ratio for the onions and the tomatoes are 1 small onion, not a very small one, but a medium-sized onion to 3 tomatoes is what my ratio is. So you can just gauge. Now, obviously, you're going to see the sizes of your onions are going to differ. This is quite small. This is quite big. And I did that on purpose so you can see that onions can differ in size. Also, the pepper that I'm using here is quite spicy for us. So I'm only going to use 1. You can decide to use the seeds if you want. If you eat spicy, go ahead and use the seeds. If you don't, just throw the seeds out. The other option that I usually use is the Anaheim peppers. They're more light, very light green in color, and very light green in color. And so those are not spicy, but the taste of peppers without the spiciness. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do here is let's get our since I have the pepper here. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the seeds in this time, and we're just going to take this and we're going to put this in our pot right here. And then I'm also going to turn on our stove here on medium low, okay, while we get the other stuff cut. So what I'm going to do is doesn't have to be any uniform way. If you can cut them a little smaller, they'll just cook faster. It all goes in there. Okay. Now, because my onion, one was too big and one was too small, I'm going to use just half of this one. Okay, that goes in. I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off. We're just going to make 4 quarters. Doesn't have to. Like I said, if you cut these a little smaller, it'll cut quicker. I mean, it'll cook quicker. Can everybody hear me well? Comment and let us know if the audio is okay, or just give us a thumbs up. The other thing that I wanted to also mention is now with the quarantine thing that we're going with, we always try and preserve stuff in the freezer. And there was one thing that I hated to freeze, and that was tomatoes. And when all this started, I did come up with a way of preserving them. It actually worked really, really well. So I'll show you how I do that. Very, very simple. I just bring home the tomatoes the way you see them. I don't cut them. I don't do anything. I do wash them a little bit. And then what I do is I stick it into the freezer. Once they're frozen, whenever I need to use it, I take it out And while they're frozen, I just grate them. So really, even if I kind of found out that that's the best way to do it for curries. It cooks faster. You know, you don't need to take out your blender to blend things. So and you know, we're open to, if you have any questions, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask. I'll try and answer all your questions. So I'm just gonna get these into the pot. I'm going to transfer this to the back burner of mine so that we can start our date bite. And then I will, as we're progressing, I will show you. Right. So we're just gonna mix this really well. What we're gonna do is you wanna wait until, cook this until all the vegetables kind of go limp. You'll see that the onions will soften up, the tomatoes will soften up, the peppers will soften up. Then we're gonna cool this mixture and blend it. Then I'll show you in the next step. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer this to the back burner and we'll start our coconut bites. I mean our date bites. And I'm just gonna let this go on medium high. We are doing a live show, so I kind of want this cooked a little bit quicker. So now I have all the ingredients ready here, and I'm gonna show you all the ingredients. Okay. For our date bites, we have a question.
Someone asked, what is she making?
So what went on the stove right now was my curry starter kits for in preparation to Mahi Ramadan. So and then while that's cooking, I'll show you how we're gonna also freeze it. I'll also show you the ones that I have in the freezer, and so you'll get an idea. Also, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be doing date bites. These are very simple, very quick, and I also have some already done in the freezer that I'll take out and I'll show you. Can I slow down a little bit? Sure, I'll slow down. Sorry about that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is let me go ahead and show you all the ingredients first. So I have got dates here. Now these are also available on Amazon. They're a little bit more pricier on Amazon, but there's a double pack that you can order. I usually grab them from any Mediterranean store. This is, I believe, this is 13 ounces. You know, this is what happens when you need your glasses and you don't want to wear your glasses because it's a live show and you don't want to show everybody that you have glasses. But yeah, it's 13 ounces. So what I did for the other, I did prepare these ahead of time to show you guys because these need to be frozen when you cut them so they can hold their shape. So I did do double the recipe, so you can double this recipe. Also, you can put in whatever you like. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing right now. So here I have, so we're going to be doing the date bites. Now these date bites are already pitted and they're like a paste. You see, so they're fun to work with. See that? I also have a video on these dates that I put in pastry, turn out really, really well as well. So we're going to be doing some ghee. I using ghee. This is homemade ghee. I also have a recipe for that. It just turns out amazing. So we're going to be doing about a tablespoon of ghee. Now, if we were doing, when I doubled the recipe, I did 2 tablespoons of ghee. We're going to be doing half a cup of whole pistachios. These are salted, roasted pistachios. I just get them from Costco. Now, if you don't have it roasted, I highly recommend that you roast them because that crunch is really going to make a difference in this recipe. So please, whatever nuts you decide to put in there, go ahead and roast all your nuts before you add them into the dates. Here I have some things like I have slivered almonds, I have desiccated coconut, and I have these beautiful slivered pistachios, and I have sprinkles. What's my favorite? My favorite is sprinkles. And then my second favorite is the pistachios. And I'll show you how beautiful these look. Kids love the one with sprinkles. The pickiest eaters are gonna have these. Now, this recipe is wonderful because we are using all natural ingredients and we're not adding any brown sugar or anything that we don't need to, because when we break our fast, this is a great energy thing that we can make. We have another question. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to use peppers for the starter, or we can use onions and tomatoes?
You know, it's a very good question. I usually, because I don't like the spice, I use the Anaheim peppers. The Anaheim peppers gives it a really, really good taste. It doesn't give it the spice, but the Anaheim peppers are very mild. And if you even want it milder, just take out the seeds. I recommend using the peppers, but if you didn't want to, yes, you can just do the onions and tomatoes. It's perfectly fine. But if you are going to make both, you will see the difference that by adding the peppers, the taste is much better.
If you have regular pitted dates, does that work?
That will work. Just make sure that they're soft, because when I make this, you will see the consistency of these dates. If they're a little hard, what I would do is I would put them on the stove, put a little bit of water, put it on low, cover it, let it slowly steam, and it'll get really nice and soft. Then you'll be ready to do this. So yes, you're completely fine using that. I'm just gonna check on the mixture here. Now, I just want you to quickly look here. This is getting really nice and we don't need any water. We don't need any oil. The tomatoes and the onions are going to take out the enough water, so we don't need to add anything else in there. So I'm going to go transfer the stove because it's still not ready. Now, because we're doing a live show, I just want to make sure that these get done quickly. I am going to go ahead and cover these just so that we can cook them a little faster. Usually when I'm doing it at home, I'm doing such a big pot of them that I never cover, and they just kind of cook up on the stove slowly while I'm doing other stuff. So let's get this started now. I'm going to turn my stove on. Get this out of the way here. We're going to put the 1 tablespoon of butter in, just like so. Oh, sorry, 1 tablespoon of ghee. I apologize. You could use butter if you wanted, but I want this to be dairy free. Try and make it as healthy as possible. Next, I'm going to go ahead and open this package up. Okay, we're going to empty this whole package into the pan. And do you see how easy these are? Whenever I go to the Mediterranean store, I just pick up like 7, 8 of these. I just love working with these because, like I said, this is not the only recipe that I make with the dates. My kids love the one that is, I fill it with it's filled into the pastry. I think I have some more coconut bites, different kinds on YouTube. I make that. In fact, I have some in the freezer as well right now. So, okay. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do, just wash my hands. can see here, the flame is not crazy, but medium, medium low, just where you can handle it, okay? Just where you can handle it. Do it very, very slow if you're nervous, doing it, but medium low is perfectly fine. Now, what I like to do is I just like to dip my spatula into the ghee, and I'm going to just flatten this out. It's this way, it's gonna heat through really, really well. Once it just gets a little bit warm, then we're ready to put the pistachios in there. So this week we decided to do the prep for my Ramadan and do some easy recipes. Inshallah, next week we're going to do some recipes that are going to be a little bit more, but they're going to be fun. And so if you find this boring, I'm sorry. It was just we wanted to. So this way we can see, how our audios are working, how everything is working together. So just gonna turn up the heat just a little bit. So now,
we'll be doing a quick 2-minute. We're gonna restart the video.
What?
Got it.
all right. So now I did a little bit, but I want to show you that this is the consistency you're looking for. You don't need to cook this a whole lot, because what's going to happen is the natural sugars in the dates are going to start crystallizing, and then your date bites are going to get hard. So you just until you see that you've got a nice, soft, doughy type texture. See that? Really nice now from the beginning. So it's really nice and soft. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add my salted pistachios. Now, if you are using unsalted pistachios, I would recommend adding a pinch of salt. Salt and sugar mixed just enhances the flavor. It just turns out so nice. It just gives it that taste that you want to go back and eat more and more. So you see here that I've got my pistachios as much as I wanted. We have a question.
Someone asked, is there
This is something like a khajur pak, but these are more into like date bites, and I'll show you what they. For my khajur, I add a whole lot more stuff in it. Like I add biryani, add coconut, I add so much more in it. For this one, I just make simple because the kids just love this. It's simple, it's ready, it's in the freezer, and honestly, the ones that I had made about 7 months ago, we just finished some right now, so they do stay in the freezer really, really well. So do you see how now at this, let's say you wanted to add more pistachios, you wanted to add slivered almonds, you want it, go ahead and do that. It's completely fine. Even if I were to choose and put another cup of pistachios in here, that's completely okay too. So this is ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut our stove off, and then I'll show you how we are going to roll these. I'm just going to get this out of the way for a second. And we have another question.
Someone asked, what brand is the dates?
It's the Ziad brand. Let me quickly get, I think I have another pack here so I can show you. See, I wasn't joking when I said I always have some in reserve. So this is the brand that I love using this brand. I know there are a lot more brands out there. For some reason, I started using this brand. I just stuck to it. So this is the one I use. Yes.
Could you just blitz everything without using ghee?
You could, but this one, the way this one I've been making it, you know, I mean, you could do it. Yes, you could mix it. It's just that the ghee will help also when we start rolling these. So I'm going to show you how it would help. So what I do is I take some saran wrap here. And I usually make rolls that are not, because I used to make them super long and it's hard to put them in the freezer and it's hard to handle those. So I'll take mine out and I'll show you. So I made these yesterday, I believe, or a couple. What I do is this is how big I make them. And then I go ahead and I label them. So C is for coconut, A for almonds, S for sprinkles, and P for pistachios. So this is how I do it. And by putting the ghee, it's just easier because you've got it, it won't stick to the saran wrap. Now, I did double the amount when first, that's why I came up with 4 rolls, but we only did one of the Ziad packets, one of the date, and we're just gonna come out with 2. And that all depends on how big you want to make them, how long you want to make them. It really, really depends on you. If you just want to take this and stick it in a Pyrex dish, set it and cut it into pieces, you can do that as well. This is just something that, you know, we do. And I can't remember who had shown me this recipe, but I think it was Zarina Auntie Alu of Minnesota that had done these. So we've just been following this ever since. So you see how easy that was to roll? Now you'll see one size is bigger, one size is smaller. So you just want to get a uniform size right there, just like that. Now, of course, I am going to do 2 rolls for you. I love the sprinkles. So first I'm going to do the sprinkles. Just want to add sprinkles on here. And you just want to roll it just like so. This is, oops, I got sprinkles everywhere. Really, really a fun thing to do with kids. I mean, Sumaya, usually when we're doing this, Sumaya really enjoys doing this. She does, this is her job, rolls them up in the sprinkles and, and this is not the only sprinkles you can use. You can basically use any type that you like. Okay, so now you see that we have a uniformed log right there. So it's on all sides, it's round. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it tightly, and I'm going to close the sides. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that in some foil. The reason why I wrap it in foil is because I hate freezer burn. I hate the taste of freezer burn, and I can detect that in anything. So that's why I double wrap it. And I can put it in the freezer for as long as, and if you have some nicks in your plastic, you're not putting that in the freezer. See, there's already a nick there. So now I'm not putting that in the freezer and getting all that smell to go in there. Okay. It's good. This is gonna get labeled sprinkles. Sorry, I just had to walk away without letting you know. But let me show you what this mixture looks like. See how everything has gotten so unified here. Like it's getting really nice and soft. Really, really nice and soft. See that? So now it's almost done. I'm just gonna let this go back on the stove until we finish. We'll come back and then I'll show how we're gonna blend this. Okay, let's do that one more roll. And for this, who wants to see what flavor? You can see almonds, pistachios, coconut. Comment below. Anything, Sumaya?
Oh, one pistachio.
Now, the question that was earlier, the ghee, you see how clean up and was really quick. Okay, so we'll do pistachios. Okay, so we have this here. All right, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add. These pistachios are salted. And if you hear the background, it's just that we're trying to sort out some of the technical issues we're having. So please just bear with us. Okay, and you just want them uniform to where you have the pistachios everywhere. And then also one thing I forgot to mention also was that if you are doing almonds, you want to make sure that the almonds are crushed. So what I will do is I will just add some on here so you guys can see. So you can even mix your toppings. It doesn't have to be one kind. So you see how we have the almonds? Now these are the slivered ones. I love these almonds. And these are available everywhere from Aldi's to Restaurant Depot. I think it's either Costco or Sam's just started carrying a big bag of these, and it's a good price. So what you want to crush it just with your hands, just like that, and add. I'm not adding too much because we already got some pistachios on here. And then again, you just want to roll it. Not gonna stick very well, but I wanted to show you guys because we had all that take to the date roll already. Let's get this back on. Again, you want to do a tight roll, close it up, just like so. And I honestly don't know how many pieces will come out of this. So when we go into the one that I've already done ahead of time, we'll count, okay? So let's get this into the foil and into the freezer. Okay, this is going to get labeled as pistachios. These in the freezer. All right, let's go ahead and open up the ones that I made earlier. Now grab my serving dish here. All right, let me show you. You're gonna need a serrated knife to cut this. It's just easier to cut. I think it's the pistachios that I cut. All the other ones I went ahead, took it out last night and cut it so that I don't have to cut 4 rolls in front of you. Okay. So this is when it's frozen. This is what it's gonna look like. You can see that it's hard, and that's exactly how you want it. Now, depending on how thick or thin you want these, then you just want to slice them. Now, if you find that they're really hot and you can't do them, just wait a couple of minutes. But I'd rather them be hard than be soft, because if they're soft, you're not going to have the round unified shape. They're just going to be, because see, I have to hold this in order to cut, so it's not going to cut as well. And that's why if you have a serrated knife, let the knife do its work. So you're just going to go back and forth, and just the knife will do its work. Yes, these are frozen, and you want to cut them frozen. I would take them out about maybe 3. Now you're in Florida, so it's pretty hot over there. So I would say not more than 2 minutes. We're in Minnesota, and we had snow, so for us here, everything is we can take it out 5 minutes ahead of time. So. This is hard to cut, but I'll get it. End piece is always the. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, set these onto my serving dish. Okay, I'm going to show you this is the sprinkle ones. And I told you I love sprinkles because my daughter-in-law also loves sprinkles. So just because I wanted to save time, I did take them out last night and cut it. So this would be a good time to see about how many pieces come out of there. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 15. Now again, that will depend on how long you make your bites. But these are still quite frozen because I just took them out. So at this point, I will put them on the side of the table here, and then we'll come back because I really don't want to be tugging on it. We'll come back, and then I'll get these. I will get all these on there so you can see all the different kinds: the coconut, the pistachio, the sprinkles, and the almonds. Okay, so I'm gonna get this, transfer this over to the table. Let's continue with our first recipe, which is the curry starter. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna get my blender here. Now, because we're doing a live show, I can't have the mixture cool down completely. But if you're making this at home, then I would say usually just wait and make have the mixture completely cool down before I blend it. Okay. So this is right now. It's very hot, but just gauging. I'm sure I'm going to have a question of gauging how many starter kits this would make. I usually have one starter kit. I'll fill it up all the way to the top. I take it out of the freezer, and I'll show you. I'll take it out of the freezer, and I use it twice for a recipe. Because it's blended, so you really don't need much. Hmm? Just gonna see. I think our mixture is a bit thick, but it should be able to blend. Let's see. You want to make sure and blend this completely. Okay. Okay. Now, you would want to have this mixture completely cool down before you start putting it in your freezer bags. But just because I'm doing it for the live show, I just want to show you how I usually do it so you have an idea. So I usually take a freezer bag, and that's super important, is use a freezer bag. It's worth the investment because, again, that freezer burn, okay? So I'm gonna put down curry starter kit, and then I will also put down the date. And I have my smiley face on there because I'm telling you, these are lifesavers, lifesavers. So when I see this, my smiley face, when I'm looking for that curry, because I want to cook quicker, it makes me so happy. All right, so then what you do is, don't do this at home. You don't want to have hot liquid inside the bake. Because we're doing the live show, I'm just showing you this. So I'm not going to put enough to where I feel that that's how much I usually fill it up with. Okay, so it's about half, about that much. So you should be able to get at least 2 curries out of this. Now, again, that depends. If you're cooking for a lot of people, then you're probably going to need more. But for a house full of 6 people, I would be able to use this twice. What you want to do then is you want to make sure that you take out all the air, and then you seal it. Okay? Once you seal it, you want to put it just like that, and you want to put them in the freezer just like that. And now I'll show you why. Let me just take all this stuff and transfer all this out. Now, the reason why I flatten it like this, I'm just going to open this because it's too hot and it's not good. So I'm going to show you what I have when I freeze mine. I apologize for all that noise, but you can tell I have so many in there. Okay, so this is how they freeze up. They're flat, and I can get a good amount in the freezer. Here, sometimes what I do, I even put down for a small meal. And then if I'm gonna have guests at home, I do a bigger bag, like I'll fill it up completely and I'll say family pack. So these are just some of the things the way I do it. Now, back in here. Also, I wanted to show you if you ever do your ginger and garlic, this is again how I freeze it. I just, ginger and garlic, this is the way I freeze it. This is how it works. I just put all of them inside and close. Okay, so now let's go back to getting these up, and then I have a question for you. I usually make a bagasse, and I keep it in the refrigerator. This is what it looks like. It lasts for a good 3-4 weeks. It smells wonderful. We have 2 minutes and 46 seconds left. No, sorry. We have 13 minutes left. If you guys want to see that recipe, let me know, and I'll continue that recipe. If not, then that's fine. We can just close up at 3 o'clock. Okay, but look at how beautiful these look. You've got this is what I love, is the pistachios showing through. Right there, just like that. And I want to show you all of them so you can see. This is the one we did with the almonds. Oh, we have a question, Smaya? Sure. That's a very, very good question. I do have some videos. I have a playlist of them on my YouTube channel, and I make my kukupaka with them. So instead of you grinding the tomatoes and onions and the peppers all the time, you just take your curry starter kit and you're ready to go. So like, let's say your potato curry or anything that requires potatoes, onions, and peppers, then that's how you would use it. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much of the curry starter?
So like the way I showed you, that one bag that we filled up, I would use half of that bag. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, you definitely can.
These are coconut ones. And you can also do, if you want colored coconut, you can also do that. So that's totally fine. So basically, these are ready to go. Just kind of wanted to give you an idea of how these are going to look. Okay. Okay, so we are done. Do we have any other questions that I can answer before we end the show? So inshallah, we will end the show today. And I will see you here next week. Inshallah, the HIC committee members will let you know what we're cooking, and we will get the recipe and the ingredients out there for you, so you can be ready and cook with me next week. I really, really hope that you enjoyed the time in the kitchen with me today. Inshallah, we will see you here next week, 3 o'clock Florida time, 2 o'clock Minnesota time.